Hey everybody, Zach Butler YGO here. Just wanted to show you some updated decks for the new Cyberstorm Access format. I'm really excited to get to change up the decks that we've been seeing for the last couple months. I will be doing a lot of updated decks throughout the week, so you'll be seeing Punk, the Kashtira deck, Spright variants, things like that. And I'll also be going over the pillars of the format, at least so far, and kind of just where we need to be as players to understand, you know, what we're looking to beat and how to beat those decks. So I figured I'd start it off with one that I personally always enjoy doing, which is Spright. The reason why I find that the Spright deck is so good is because it's always stable. The game plan is basically always the same. The deck hasn't changed much in its time in the game, and because of that, that means you get to just focus on playing well and not really worrying about a whole lot of variables like remembering these obscure combo lines and things like that. So that's why we're going to be leading off with Spright. And as always, if you like this kind of content, let me know with a like, comment, and a subscription. That would really mean the most. If you enjoy the deck you see and you want to purchase any of the cards in it, make sure to use the TCG affiliate link in the description below. A portion of that does help the channel out, so you're helping me while helping yourself out, which is pretty great. And we're just going to jump into it. So first up, we have 3 Spright Blue, of course, and then the 3 Spright Jet. This is not going to change anytime soon, and at least in like a more pure Spright deck. One thing we're doing differently again is we're playing 2 reds and 2 carrots. So you might be wondering why we're playing a heavier number of sprites, and that is because with cards like Droll and Lockbird in the format, being able to reliably see these names is very important. I want to see as many of them as I can in my opening hand. If I can get to all 4 of these names in rotation without having to worry about Droll, then that's golden. Obviously, that's not always going to happen, but you want to see more of these, and also because you don't have Elf, your grind game isn't as good, and so having extra copies of these names is very beneficial. Next up, we have our normal summon engine of the Nimble Beaver and Angler engine. No Trickstar engine this time. Again, Droll and Lockbird being so popular, I didn't want to risk running into it more than I had to, so I wanted to keep the normal summons to a minimum and have them just be as impactful as possible. This is always going to be like just a good solid go-to normal summon engine. I did consider the Sacred Beasts, however, again, running in a Droll and Lockbird, not really that great. And it also is a little bit weaker to Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Then there is 1 each of Melfi, Pinny, and Caddy. Really like this engine a lot. And one of the things that is so good about it is that it is just a nice solid 2-card suite in your deck, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. And it gives you multiple layers of disruption, which is still what you're looking to do with this deck, especially into a format with like Purely and things like that, which are very grindy decks. Now, the hand trap lineup is pretty robust for the beginning of the format. We have 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Droll and Lockbird. This is a card I don't generally like playing. I don't like the high risk, higher reward hand traps like Droll and Lockbird and the next one actually. But because of how much the decks that are in play right now are searching and are on repeat, just kind of locked down by lingering effects, I wanted to have each hand trap be as powerful as possible, so Droll and Lockbird was a fantastic fit. To go with that is the 3 Psyframe Gear Gamma and Driver. Again, not really a fan of Gamma historically, but I want to be able to counter their Droll and Lockbirds with my Psyframe Gear Gamma if I were to go like Pot of Prosperity, for example. I also want to be able to counter any sort of like absurd hand trap where they might have like an Ash Blossom or Joyous Spring on like a really weak hand or something like that. So Gamma does get a little bit more usage there. And that's it for the monsters. Then the spells, we have 3 Pot of Prosperity. Again, even though it kind of sucks for Droll and Lockbird, you just want your deck to be as consistent as possible, so Pot of Prosperity does get a nod despite that. 3 Spright Starter, 1 Spright Smashers, 1 Spright Gamma Burst. One of the things with Droll and Lockbird and those kind of like powerful lingering effects is you need to be able to end the game as soon as you can. Gamma Burst lets you do that, and a lot of the times you just need to end the game as quickly as possible. If you're going to take care of a Pearly Noir, for example, and they get back those 3 quick play spells, you need to end the game before those 3 quick play spells can really matter. And cards like Gamma Burst and even Spright Pixies can help do that. So there's actually consideration for Spright Pixies to be back in the deck as well. And then the last cards are 3 Triple Tactics Talent and the 3 Infinite Impermanence. Between the talents and the imperms, it actually brings you to 14 non-engine, which is the which is right in that ideal curve. Gives you over 80% to see at least 2 in your opening hand, which is ideal, so you can consistently be able to have at least a pairing of cards to stop your opponent. So for the extra deck, currently we're playing 1 Herald of the Arclight, or a Rise Heart at home, 1 Merry Melfi's, 1 number 2 Ninja Shadow Mosquito, 1 Melfi of the Forest, and 1 Onibibaru Soul Sweeper. That's pretty normal. Then you have your 2 copies of Gigantic Spright. I still don't really think 3 is necessary, even with Kashtira still running around. I never found that I needed a 3rd one, and so I just wanted to keep it at 2. You could definitely make the argument for 3, though, if you are so inclined to cut other cards. Then you have Downward Magician and the Double Zeus to go with it, and then Mannequin Cats, which doesn't really come up that often, but it's mostly just there to stop Dimension Shifter against you, because if they shifter you and you decide into your Chaos, what is that thing called? Chaos Sorcerer? Chaos Hunter. You can actually just special summon out your Chaos Hunter, and then the Droll Lock, or the Shifter's locked down. There's a lot of really cool little things you can do with Mannequin Cat in the format. And then for the links, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Cyframe Lord Lambda. This is mostly just because I have Gamma, and I sometimes just want to end with this, so I can have another layer of interruption. 1 Spright Sprind, and 1 Underworld Goddess of the Close Forest. That card is very important because it's also how you get around Noir. If they're holding their Noir to get maximum value, if you summon 4 Sprites and then you summon that, you can sometimes just end games. And that's something you consider too when you're playing that kind of deck. The side deck right now is very experimental, but so far there's 3 Nibiru, the Primal Being. That's going to be really good against the Super Heavy Samurai deck, the Kashtira deck, even the Spright Mirror matches, things like that. 3 Santa Claus. This is not one I'm necessarily sure about. I do like that it is able to be summoned in defense position, whereas the Kaijus being summoned in attack position means that I have to run over them. So this being a defense position card is really good. But, you know, you do have to get rid of it, which does kind of suck. And unlike the Kaijus, this can't actually help facilitate OTKs with the Ninja Mosquito, so that's something else to consider. The Kaijus may just be better. Then there's 1 Thunder King Ryo, 1 Chaos Hunter. These are your targets for Mannequin Cat. And then Red Resonator. And then finally 2 Cosmic Cyclones, 1 Herpes Feather Duster, 1 Lightning Storm, and 2 Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. So that's just, like I said, the early initial stage kind of experimental Spright deck for the new format. I will definitely keep you guys posted on how this does. Be on the watch out for, I'll put it in the comments. There will be Kashtira decks and other decks, like I said, coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that. And until next time, have a wonderful day.